Alright, okay. Alah, sudah terlepas lah tadi kita punya discussion. Kalau tidak, you boleh. Tak apalah tak apalah, nanti tanya balik lah. Okay, so this one, the LH search. This is a positive feedback mechanism of LH search due to high estrogen. Okay, towards mid of ovarian cycle. If you reflect back on this, this one, we can see here, we can observe the estradiol or estrogen is rising. So at a certain point, the increment or the high concentration of estradiol switch on the positive feedback, mechanism, or positive feedback of LH or gonadotropins secretion. That's why we have this LH surge. So this LH surge here is an essential or important for the ovulation at the mid cycle of this ovarian cycle. Okay. Okay, then so the last part of this ovarian cycle, we talk about menopause, and then on animal estrous cycle. Okay, menopause is this is definition. The first one, cessation of ovarian activity and menstruation. Cessation meaning stop. Okay, like a event of stop of ovarian activity or slow down. Okay, I think stop. Cessation. Okay. End, okay, the end of ovarian activity and menstruation. Okay, so the age here is around 50 years old or even a bit earlier. What happened is the number of follicles is decreasing and then finish. Okay, due to low number of follicles or zero, or eventually become zero follicles. So no more ovarian activity. Okay, so the ovarian activity is actually the follicles development. Okay, so as we grow older or we age, we get the monthly menstruation. Okay, and the monthly menstruation, the monthly cycle, of course, develop follicles, right? So eventually the follicles will finish. Okay. Okay, when estradiol, when follicle depleted or finish up. Okay, the estradiol inhibit withdrawal. So we know that the estrogen secretion, okay, comes from the follicle cells that proliferate and differentiate, right? The granulosa cells proliferate and then eventually differentiate into granulosa cells, theca cell interna, theca externa, right? So without follicle cells, no more estradiol secretion, right? So that withdrawal of estradiol or the low, very low concentration of estrogen will cause this menopause symptom here. The hot flashes, the vaginal wall disintegrate, okay? This one FSH, LH arise, okay? Because no more negative feedback mechanism or no more stimulus to suppress these LH and FSH secretion, okay? I hope by now, if I talk about the estradiol and HFSH, you can imagine where these hormones here being secreted. Okay, the organ, the gland. Okay. Okay. So this table here reflect the menopause event or from fertile from younger version of women or fertile phase until turns into menopause. Okay. So this one, the left hand side here, reproductive years, early, peak, and late. Okay, early, this one puberty. Okay, And then at peak, maybe perhaps 20 years old to 30 years old. Late is 30 and above. Okay. Yep. Something like that. Okay. And then in terms of the menstrual cycle, variable to regular, and then adult or at the we say at the most ad- adult phase and stable physiological condition, the menstrual cycles tend to become regular, okay, towards the end. And in terms of endocrine function, this one talking about the hormones secretion here. This one says this follicle stimulating hormone, especially uh, in a normal concentration, meaning at a normal concentration, meaning when it rise, it will stimulate the follicles to develop, and then when follicles develop, it will increase the estrogen. It will give a negative feedback to the FSH secretion, so normal. So you can see at the late of reproductive years here, towards the menopause event, okay, slightly elevated of FSH. Okay, so this one we can relate it with the depleting number of follicles. Okay, so here is the like a early phase of experiencing the menopause. So or even the menopausal transition before the event of menopause here. Okay, so early and late here, or we call it perimenopause. Okay, so in terms of the duration of stage, variable depend on the individuals. Okay, the menstrual cycle not regular become irregular, or even in terms of length, the variable cycle length more 7 days different from normal. Okay, perhaps the cycle is 28 days. Okay, or from one menses to another menses, the gap is like maybe perhaps 7 to 14 days. So if towards the menopause transition, become 4 weeks before a next menses. So this one, so this one it talking about the variable cycle length, more than 7 days different. Yeah, 3, 4, 5, 6 days different from the regular cycle. Okay, and then towards the late menopausal transition here, uh, more uh, more than two, or two skipped cycles within the month. Okay, so that is a signal also. Okay, into that the women here uh, arriving or becoming or yeah, at the menopause stage. Okay, FSH elevated than normal. Okay, because due to lack of or the stimulus of negative feedback is decreasing. Okay. Uh, Stages of reproductive aging. Okay. Showing the relationship of finding menstrual period with menstrual cycle changes and FSH serum concentration. Climatric. So the term is climatric, or the onset of menopause. Plus minus 10 years before menopause. It's too long. I think it's 5 years. Okay. Irregular menses, okay, and then this is the symptoms: mood changes, irritability, loss of libido, hot flushes. Okay, so this is all about the fluctuation of the hormonal fluctuation. um okay, reflect meaning, here meaning what is the inside story of this displayed physical features. Okay, this one: mood changes, irritate. Okay, it due to the decreasing number of oocyte and the declining number of follicles, so it will reduce the responsiveness of gonadotropins. Okay, this one reduce responsiveness to gonadotropins, meaning the negative feedback mechanism for the FSH is become less and less. Okay, that's why it will become elevated or high and high. Okay. Okay, so this is hormonal interaction of the menopause situation. So I think we already observed this chart over here, or the hormonal interaction previously, okay, in the ovarian cycle. So now we talk about the menopause. Okay. Okay. Number one. Okay. This is the normal situation. Now this is the menopausal or the climacteric. Okay. So first we have to look into the purple climacteric. This is the climacteric or the transition of the menopause. Okay. Number one, you can see here declining number of follicles, so less positive feedback mechanism. Okay, the inhibin is less, the estrogen level is less, therefore the FSH will keep rising. Okay. And then follow number two, number one, and then number two. Yeah. The declining of the number of follicles, okay, it will influence declining secretion of inhibin, or yeah. And yeah, ni sama je lah. I think you faham lah. 1, 2, and then therefore declining of this one, it will increase this elevated of it will increase the anterior pituitary to secrete the FSH and LH. Okay, elevated of FSH levels. Okay, so when this one elevated, it will when this one the FSH is high compared to the normal, right? Therefore, when the FSH is more, it will stimulate more or greater proportion of small follicles to develop. Okay, let's say in a reproductive years, um, 10 from the left ovaries follicle develop, and then 10 follicles from the right ovaries develop also per month. Okay, per cycle. But towards this climacteric or the climacteric phase here, instead of 10 from left and 10 from right, due to the FSH level so high, so become 20 and 20, or 15, 15. So greater proportion of small follicles forced to develop, okay, to mature. Okay, therefore it will, when the proportion is greater, therefore enough small follicles still survive. Number five, eventually the adequate level of inhibin and estrogen is rising. So it will give a negative feedback for this one. Rising of the estrogen and inhibin. Okay, so eventually one cycle of menstrual can occur. Okay, but towards the menopause, approaching the menopause, okay, the number 6 here, the late climacteric, uh, somewhere here, okay. What happen is the inhibin, the estrogen also fall, okay, because the no more follicles, okay. Sebelum ni 10, 10, 10, lepas tu bila dah hujung 15. Lepas tu tapi number of follicles is decreasing, right? So eventually no more follicles can develop, so this one will cause this estrogen fall and inhibin falls. Okay, and therefore it will give a less negative feedback or reduce the responsiveness of this GnRH and FSH, the anterior pituitary also, and it will give the LH rise. Of course, at the same time FSH rise. Okay, so these LH rise and FSH rise. So you can see here, LH rise, FSH rise, but no more follicles can be developed. Okay, when no more follicles develop, so no more estrogen secretion. So no negative feedback. So the LH keep rising, FSH keep rising. Okay, so this is how you look. This slide here, hormonal interaction of this menopause. Okay. This graph also is the same about the menopause event. Okay, so this is the years 44, 46, 45. Okay, so at older women, okay, you can see here, okay, estradiol. So this one, estradiol, you can see declining pattern of estrogen secretion and concentration. Okay, So this declining pattern, so we can see the uh, increment pattern of the gonadotropins. Okay, so there's responsiveness of the negative feedback. Okay, about the negative feedback mechanism between estrogen and FSH/LH. Okay, so eventually suddenly it will keep rise because at this station no more, this is for no more follicles that can salvage the normal situation over here between the concentration of FSH and H and also the estrogen. Okay, so suddenly we can observe the gonadotropins, okay, rise, LH and FSH. Okay, yep. Okay, ni sama je lah. I think we already talked about this. Characterized by cessation of ovarian activity. Ovary lose their responsiveness to gonadotropins from PT to FSH, resulting in declining of estrogen amount. Okay, due to changes in ovary, not to decreases in NFS. Due to changes in the ovaries, not to decreases in FSH and LH. That's therefore they will these two hormones will be elevated. Okay, yep. And then this is the symptoms: hot flashes. Are produced by vasomotor disturbance, meaning the low estrogen and the high LH-FSH uh, influence or disturb, influence the vasomotor, the muscle, okay, muscle, vasomotor, the limbs, okay. So everything's in the cells, perhaps increase in metabolism, okay. So cause the hot flashes, okay. You can read more on this one, hot flashes. The walls of urethra and vagina atrophy, okay. The disintegration or the integrity of the wall of vagina and urethra low down or declining, okay. The vaginal gland also no more lubrication, so dry, okay. Increased pH of vaginal fluid, and then yeah, this is another point here. It will increase the risk of atherosclerosis or osteoporosis uh, disease, or yeah, because estrogen is needed in bone deposition. So the estrogen level in a woman's body uh, helps in a bone deposition. Okay, so when this drop, the bone deposition drop, so the bone become less sturdy. Okay, jadi rapuh lah. Okay, so menopausal women are at increased risk of osteoporosis. Okay, ni lah senang je. Okay, ni soalan-soalan yang boleh tengok. So next is estrous cycle. Okay, estrous cycle is ovarian menstrual cycle in animal. Okay, recurring period of physiological and behavioral changes with each reproductive cycle. The unique thing for the animal is the behavioral changes. Okay, that's why estrous cycle is period of physiological changes and behavioral changes which with each cycle. Okay, the period are induced by reproductive hormones. Yes, the reproductive hormones of course FSH, estrogen. Okay, non-human mammalian females become so eventually in this estrous cycle, it will cause the mammalian females to become receptive. Okay, receptive meaning here allow male to mate with the female. Okay. Okay. So this one, the slide here, what is estrous cycle? Recurrent restricted period of sexual receptivity in female mammals. Okay. And let's this one refine the restricted period here if we have this. So this graph here, so this at this period here, at this window only, that the female will become receptive towards the male. Okay, so that's why restricted period. Okay, recurrent restricted period of sexual receptivity in female mammals. Period in sexual cycle for the female mammals. Okay, this one is stress meaning heat. Okay, heat, meaning female is ready to mate and accept the male. Okay, that's why the receptive. Or the common term being called to the female. The female is on heat, so like that. Okay, so that on heat female. So this female is being ready to mate and accept male. Okay. So the last point there, estrous cycle, recurrent changes for mammalian. Ni tak apply you. I think you already get the point here. So this is Latin word. Okay, the animals will have this regular repetitious cycle of event. So some animal 21 days. Okay, some animals shorter than that. Some animals longer than that. Okay, measured by the interval to the next estrus. So measured by the from the on heat behavior to the next on heat behavior. So that's how the human being assess the animal reproductive cycle. Okay, estrus cycle from the behavior of the first on heat to the next on heat. Okay. Period female sexual okay ni I think precedes ovulation. So it precedes. So the behavior of being on heat towards the male is prior to the ovulation event. Okay. Dia akan on heat dulu and then baru ada ovulation event for the animal, female animal. Okay. So this one just talking about what is the starting point of the female mammals or female animal to become reproductive state. Okay. So during the juvenile, the cubs, they are in an estrous state. Okay. And then the animal also get this also experience this puberty, but it's not so obvious in a observed in human. So and once onset, once the puberty started, they will the reproductive cycle change to estrous cycle. Okay. Some animals produce this bloody discharge. But the menses seem as human, but not all. Okay. I think the monkeys. Okay, some of the monkeys. The difference from menstrual cycle is this is the big difference between the human being and the animal. The endometrium is thickened and then being reabsorbed back. Okay, but for human being, female human being, thickened and then the endometrium will drop, right, slough off. But for animal, thickened and then reabsorbed. So every cycle thickened and reabsorbed. Takes place during when a female on heat. Okay. So these types of estrous group will make various organs world here with many diversity of animals. So these each of the animals have different cycles. Okay, some even the types monoestrous, one cycle per year. Okay, you can imagine 1 year they only reproduce once. Diestrous, two cycles per year. Polystrous, many cycles per year. Cats, cow, pigs. Okay, this also represent also human. Polystrous, many cycles. But this is, we talk about the animal here, polyestrous, many cycles per year. Seasonal breeders, depending on the the sunlight and the night time. Okay. Yeah, these seasonal breeders really depend on the daylight and night time. Exposed to the light for how many hours that activate their reproductive cycle. Okay. So, yep. This one variation in cycle types, sama lah tadi we have this where the polyestrous, diestrous, monoestrous, and then we reflect back this one estrous group here, the cycle, to in terms of the follicular development type of cycle, whether it's long or short. This one seasonal breeders, okay, long or short days, long day, short day, okay. Induced type of cycle meaning When activated or stimulated, then these type of animal, rabbit, cat, mink, ferret, alpaca, activate or they enter the estrous cycle. Without stimulus, they just stay anestrous. Okay. Uh, if I can give an example, let's say this cat here from a juvenile cat becoming a more adult cat. Okay. So if this cat we hindered this female cat or stop this female cat uh, from seeing a male cat or even uh, stop the female cat from getting near to the male cat, because male cat will have the pheromones, right? So this cat eventually will not turn into or switch on into estrous cycle. Okay, so that. So this one, the right hand side here, follicular development can be spontaneous. Ovulation on CL is corpus luteum formation, can be spontaneous. This one is induced, okay? The LH surge. So that LH surge transform that corpus luteum. That LH surge also that caused the ovulation event, okay? So the rest of it is spontaneous, meaning once coitus occur, uh, and then the ovulation can occur. Okay. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. This is the phase in menstrual cycle. Same as the menstrual cycle or ovulatory cycle, we have the phase, right? This one follicular phase, ovulation, and luteal phase. Okay. So in the bracket here, the follicular phase consists of proestrus and estrus. The luteal phase, metastrus, and diestrus. Okay. So under follicular phase, of course, we can see here follicles dominating ovarian structure. The follicles develop. Okay. And then as the follicles develop, of course, estrogen hormones secreted. So estrogen hormone is dominant. And then ovulation occur. After ovulation, luteal phase, corpus luteum transformed. Okay. Then it will secrete more progesterone during luteal phase. Okay. So this is the two major phase of development. So you can see here luteal phase and follicular phase. And this is the ovulation. And then so this one reflect to this uh, the right hand side graph here. Here we include the this one, the phases here. Proestrus, estrus, metastrus, diestrus. So the cycle is like this, PEMD. Proestrus, and then entering the estrus, and then metastrus and diestrus. And you can see here, if you reflect this one, this is the luteal phase, metastrus and diestrus. Okay. Boleh. Lupa pula boleh. Okay. Ni adalah luteal phase. Alah, tak miss. Padam. Perhaps I can use highlighter. Okay. This is the luteal phase. Okay. So this is the follicular phase. Okay. Okay. Ni stages lah. Stages. I think I faham. Okay, so this is the description of the stages. Proestrus is characterized by a significant rise in estrogen produced by developing follicles. So a significant rise of estrogen. So from low, suddenly we can observe the rise of estrogen. So here start the proestrus stages. Okay, so this one, the estrogen need to rising is due to follicles development. Therefore, that means that the follicles start to develop at this stage here. Okay. When the follicles develop, the estrogen can rise. Somewhere here lah. Somewhere here. Okay. And then towards the peak of estrogen level here, yeah, towards the peak here, the stages, it enter the estrous stages. Okay. Estrous stages determined by the estradiol reach the highest. Okay. and then it enter the behavior estrous, meaning after proestrus, when the estrogen is at high peak, during these stages here, we human being can observe the on-heat behavior of the female animal. Okay, so that's how we detect that that animal is in estrous stages. Okay. Okay, and then after that, right after estrous stages, ovulation will occur. Okay. And then the apa lagi kat bawah ni, follicular growth, rising estrogen, ni dah faham. Okay. Receptive to being mounted, the on heat behavior. And then ovulation will occur at the end of estrus. Okay. Um, and then yeah, what else I want to talk about here? You can see here -6, 5, -4, -3, -2, -1. This is the day of the cycle. So we the human detect, how we detect that number of the starting cycle of the animal estrous cycle is by detecting the behavioral changes here. When we detect the on heat behavior in a female, then we say that is day one. Okay, day one of when we detect that behavior, then the cycle start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's how we count the estrous cycle day. Okay, next, these stages here, following day of cycle. Following ovulation here, okay, cells of the follicles are transformed into luteal. So this one, after ovulation, we understand that the corpus luteum transformation, and the CL will produce progesterone. Therefore, we can see here, so at low level, suddenly it will increase in concentration of progesterone. Okay, so corpus luteum transformed here. Okay, metastress. Metastress. Okay. And then at the peak of concentration of progesterone, that is diestrus, characterized by a fully functioning corpus luteum and high progesterone. The most obvious, I think, the high progesterone concentration level that characterize the diestrus stages here. Okay. And then if no fertilized egg, no successful fertilized egg occur, so it will keep declining lah. Okay. Bila declining, start balik lah. Bila progesterone decline, you can remember this is a sexual reproductive, right? So when this decline, tak best betul. When we can observe this declining of progesterone. Ni declining ni dah start menses lah kalau dalam ni. So if it's in animal, the endometrium reabsorb, kan? Endometrium reabsorb. At the same time, when progesterone drop, of course the FSH, LH suddenly no more the negative feedback, so it will rise. Bila dia rise, so akan memula balik lah. The follicles develop. Okay, masuk balik. Okay. Oh, saya rasa ini semua tadilah yang terang. Follicle enlarge 1 or more, 1 to 3 weeks depending on species, estrogen rises, vascularity of female reproductive tract increase. So this is about endometrium. Okay. So dekat sini juga ada follicle development, endometrium thicken. Okay. So vascularity of the female reproductive tract increases. Okay. The endometrial gland begin to grow. Okay. Estrogen at level peak. Some have bloody vagina. So this is the menses. Remember, when this drop, FSH, LH also, the withdrawal of steroid hormone, the withdrawal of progesterone, estrogen is a signal for the human menses, right? So same thing, the withdrawal of this will increase this FSH, LH. At the same time, follicle will develop. At the same time, the mens occur. Okay, the bloody discharge here. Cervix produce the mucus plug. The female is not being receptive yet. Okay. Estrous, female is sexually receptive. So it will exhibit this behavior here, restless call, lordosis posture. Okay. So this behavior signify or signal the the starting of estrous cycle. Okay, it also signal the male to mount. It can be hours, within hours, or it can be within days. Okay, the this one, the tempo ni. Okay. Estrogen decreases, LH surge occur. Okay, you reflect back on this. We can see the estrogen start to decline. Okay, at the same time, bila ni nak decline, of course. Bila estrogen is rise, that is a positive feedback mechanism for LH surge, right? So ovulation happen. That's why ovulation happen here. Okay, and then decline. Okay. What else? Okay, metastress. Rasanya ni saya dah terangkan lah. Okay. So yeah, distress, corpus luteum lining. Okay. So that is estrous cycle. Okay. The stages, pro estrous, estrous, metastress, distress, and then reflect with the type of group just now, monoestrous, diestress, or polyestrous. Okay. And estrous is a term of inactivity, sexual inactivity. Okay. So during that anestrus, it can due to pregnancy, it can due to the suckling of the young, okay, presence of offspring. It can due to season stress, nutritional, okay, and negative energy balance. Okay, ni saya dah sebut, I think I dah sebut many times, the hormonal regulation in ovarian cycle, in human being, in this estrous cycle. So okay, ni sama lah, ni reflect the graph. Okay, I think I stop here. So the end of ovarian cycle. The rest of this you can read. If you have any questions, just private message me or text me in the group. Okay, so the end of Chapter 5, ovarian cycle. So check back your learning outcome, understanding the different stages of ovarian cycle, compare menstrual cycle, estrous cycle, understand the hormonal changes in both cycle here, plus ovarian cycle, understand how the ovarian cycle coordinates event of female menses, and then in this slide we learn about menopause. Okay, next slide we learn about next chapter we learn about ovulation. So, yep. All right, that's all for today. Thank you for your attention. So I think okay, the Google form is your attendance. Okay, today we have 29. Yep, 29 minus 1 minus 2. Yeah, so full attendance today. Thank you so much. If you have any problem with your marks or any if you need more explanation or discussion or study or revise balik, okay, just reach me. Okay, all right, thank you guys. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Miss.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you, Miss.